Alright, looks like it's live. Oh, you got snapped. Oh, hold on, Alex has got snacks.
I apologize.
You're
Should have opened
fine.
that before.
Alright, so we are gonna be live with a new episode, Films and Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex.
A little bit of audio
Yeah, we had
issue.
really audio delays, slow laptops, but we're here. So let's get right into it. So this episode, we're going to be talking The Librarians. Oh, guess who decided to join? Hi, Perry.
Oh God.
Yes, new episode, Perry. Finally, of The Librarians. So,
No.
yes,
Oh
it's been a
no.
while since we talked about. Actually, it's been a year. Like, I think it's been like since last year that we've talked about The Librarians.
Yeah, it has.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm totally gonna be like free balling it here. That I
it's
literally have no notes.
it's okay.
I'm just
We'll make it work.
doodling.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work. So, before we get into this episode, I want to thank our sponsors, NAFCO.org. And if you want to support the podcast, we do have a Ko-Fi, Films and Fandoms. If you want to buy us a coffee, help support the podcast. Wait,
Holy shit.
wait, I don't think he actually. Hold on. Did you actually? I decided to put this. Did you? Perry? Oh no,
Did
he
you
just shared it.
really?
He did. He did not. Perry, don't be scaring her like that. Come on, man. No, actually, if he wanted to, he probably could. He is a radio DJ now.
Oh God. Why am I
Uh,
scared?
actually, shit, why did I say that? Yes. Thanks, Perry. Yeah, and I don't imagine anyone from Du Bois is watching this, but listen to Perry Pines on Bigfoot Country Q102. Fuck, I forget how the thing goes. But anyway, so focus back to the episode. So, alright, alright, so as I said, we're going to be talking The Librarians. So I actually kept the notes for. So actually have you and Perry talked since then?
No.
No, it's been like a long time. Love you too, Perry.
Well,
Oh, train. Oh, I heard the train. You're good. It that's an oh my I said Q102. It's Bigfoot Country. Wait, I said Bigfoot Country, Perry. I was there when I switched it. Anyways, sorry, off track. Focus. The Librarians. We're back talking to librarians because I want to do a special episode of this podcast because
because a certain something's coming back.
yes, library is coming back. So on May 25th on TNT, the Librarians, the next chapter is coming out with a 2-night premiere actually. So it's the 25th and 26th. 2-night premiere. We're going to be introduced to a whole new cast of characters, with Jacob Stone introducing them to the world of the library.
I am so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited too. And also something really cool that I yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna share it. Yeah, I Perry, hold your damn horses. I'm getting there. All right, so it's not Perry. Okay, hold on. Okay, so before y'all, okay, Perry.
I can't.
I'm not going to the fucking show itself. I'm going to a screening. So on Tuesday, actually, I will be taking a Greyhound bus to go to New York City. Uh yeah, I'm going to New York City where I will be attending a screening of The Librarians, The Next Chapter, and I'm really excited because they did like a lottery where you had to RSVP to get a ticket, and
Kind
I
of.
was one of the people
You know
that
what I just
selected.
realized? The way that they did that, it was
Huh?
very homage to how you
What?
get invited to the library in the show.
Oh, with the fucking Dean Devlin.
You sneaky boy. I see what
Sneaky
you did there.
bastard. Yeah, so I'm gonna be one of the first 100 people to actually get to see the librarians in the next chapter. I believe it's just a pilot episode they're gonna be showing, but I don't know for sure. I haven't gotten any
I
official
I saw.
schedule yet.
Okay, so I was watching TV earlier tonight. Partially why this got a little glitchy, and I saw a trailer for it, and I immediately started laughing.
Because you knew.
Hmm.
Yep. And I keep waiting to see it on the bar TV at work, but they never have TNT on.
That's it.
But I'm like so freaking excited. No, I honestly am like really excited about this because this is the first time I've had an opportunity like this where I actually get to attend something that I'm a fan of as a fan. And Librarians is actually kind of special to me because it not only was it there for me uh, when I first moved out at 19, you know, moved out on my own. I had absolutely no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was failing at just about every single adulting thing I could think of.
You were attempting to adult on your own. Think of it that way.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but the yeah, watching the librarian so did give me a bit of a confidence and a bit of an escape when I was not feeling so confident in myself. And now that I get to attend a screening for a revival of something I'm a fan of, and from a company I've been or from a production company I've been a fan of for 6 years now, which is insane to think about. Because it was 2019, I discovered Leverage, and then from there, it just kept escalating. And now I'm at a fan screen. So, I mean, that just goes to show you,
Yep.
things happen when you believe in the magic of the library.
Exactly.
All right, so the episode we're going to be talking today is season 1, episode 3, "In the Horns of a Dilemma." We should probably actually get onto this damn episode before I start rambling on. So, technically, we have done this episode before. So, let me explain. So, like last year, we did this episode. Uh, I tried to do a different format with the video playing. I wasn't a fan of that format. So we scrapped that idea. But then the episode got taken down on YouTube, and I must have forgotten. I got the notification from it. So we decided we're going to redo this episode. What would I? Sorry, my cat's hitting my chairs. Oh. Ah, sorry. Uh, Hi, Tim, if you're there. Ah, anyways, so yeah, we are. Yeah, so we're going to be talking Librarians, Season 1, Episode 3, and the Horns of a Dilemma. So, a summary for this episode before we get started. It's the first solo mission of the Lits, and they're eager to prove themselves. And by the way, LIT stands for Librarians in Training, in case you forget. And they're eager to prove themselves. However, they hit a snag when they get caught in a labyrinth and have to find a way out. And every time I hear the word labyrinth, I think of the song Labyrinth by Taylor Swift. Remember Midnight Stallion. I'm
I don't,
sorry.
however.
No, you don't. You probably think David Bowie.
Yes, I think of David Bowie.
To be fair, that is very valid as well.
And you remind me of the Babe just popped into my head. I hate you.
Sorry.
I'm so mad at you.
No, let's keep going. Okay, so the director for this episode is Mark Roskin. Our writers for this episode are John Rogers, Jeremy Bernstein, and Kate Rorick. Three uh three very love three very lovely writers. So first we gotta talk about this opening because it's creepy as shit. Because like he's just like running down this labyrinth, like getting chased by something. We don't actually see what he's getting chased by. And like you just see these two like hooded figures chanting. I'm gonna say I think it's Greek, given
Yes,
I
it is.
say that chanting in Greek because of the Greek theme of the episode. And then like after like he literally gets murdered, they're just like, "Oh, where's that place that has the good like panini?" Like, what the that's good. Like that's the last thing I'm fucking thinking about. I'd be more worried about hiding the body.
Of course you would.
Well, you know what? Nope, I'm moving on from that before I say too much. So we have a bit of a double meaning to this episode title, as not only is it in reference to the Minotaur, but it's also about
That
Eve
thing was
facing the
freaking
moral
creepy.
dilemma of having to uh of having to manage like this team of trios or this trio of really smart yet kind of dumb people. I say
Exactly.
smart as in they're like book smart and like Jake's is like he speaks like 9 languages and can read 12. He's got an IQ of 190. Cassandra can do math like that and like solve complex math equations like that without breaking a sweat. Ezekiel Jones can look at just about any security system and find a way to bypass it and know how to be sneaky. But yet none of them
That was
have any
really
survival
leverage.
instincts.
Very like leverage-esque, like with the team dynamic and with the
Yeah.
librarians and the guardians dynamic.
Yeah.
Very, very like homage to leverage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that.
Go with this dynamic.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And so yeah, so sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I was at. Yeah, so and then it is actually kind of cute, this scene where like Eve's like testing them, because it's very clear like none of them have any survival instincts. But that's part of what, like, as we see, when Eve inevitably disarms them all, you
I
know,
love that. It's just like
Jay, he, tries brute forcing his way out of it, which is not the right move for him. Cassie or Cassandra hides poorly, and Ezekiel just
just
runs.
freaking just gave up. Pretty much, he's like a ram. But she showed them each of their flaws. It's like, but we can
Yeah,
fix this. We can fix this to make it better.
yeah, and if you think about it, like this also sets up for like where the characters are supposed to be growing from there, because like you can see like Jake, he needs to like sort of embrace how smart he is, and you know accept that maybe brute force isn't always the answer. And Cassandra, she is not confident at all in her abilities, and then like as the series goes on, she gets more and more confident with her abilities. It doesn't start to doubt herself, as much. And Ezekiel, fucking cockiest motherfucker I've ever seen. Besides maybe Alec Hardison, but season one, Alec Hardison, okay? Season one, Alec
Okay,
Hardison.
true. Yeah.
Season one, Alec Hardison was a cocky motherfucker. But yeah, but I appreciate that this is like the setup for where these characters are supposed to go, and then Eve as well. She's kind of going through her own gauntlet this episode, where she's like questioning her abilities to like train, because she's like, I need to train these guys, I need to get them prepared so they have a chance coming out. But then, this is the episode where she's starting to realize that like she doesn't need to be training them. Like there's a reason why, like, even though like Flynn didn't like wasn't a fan of the whole toss him into the fire approach that they did with the previous librarians,
Yeah.
she's starting to realize that this episode, that's why it worked, because you have to be able to adapt. And that's the big thing I think Eve is going to realize this episode is about being able to adapt and trust.
And I just realized that first she tries like the military approach to training these guys to be kind of more self-aware of what's going on around them. But then she realized, this is not, these are not military based people. These are scholars basically, and like
Yeah.
hands-on learners.
Yeah, she like
And
she
kind of
can't.
backpedals how she is processing this. And I related to that. Like you could see it in her eyes when she realizes, like, wait, this is not working. You need to try a different approach.
Yeah, but she's going with this soldier mentality, and yeah, that's why if they start butting heads
The
a
look
bit,
on her face when she realizes it's not working.
yeah,
Priceless.
because like, yeah, okay, yeah, so I find it kind of funny when like they all go back into the annex, and Jenkins like Jenkins mentions that there is a new page in the clip book. So he was like, no, but then like the Blitz are like, can't we? Like they just want to get out there and help people,
Yep.
and yeah, and I also like the fact that like when Eve goes to like, kind of yell at Jenkins for like teasing him about the Clippins book, and then like we see Jenkins' lab. I like that Jake, they're like, standing by the desk, like clearly like they're waiting for somebody to make the first move, but they're like, okay, he's making the first move. Am I making it? No. Are you making it? No. No. Are you making it? No. No. Am I making it? And you could kind of tell that, but then Ezekiel is the first to speak up and is like, "We're doing this, right?" And then
Right.
Jake is hell yeah, we are. And they all run over to the Clippings book. Which actually in my notes I put in, uh, it's kind of like when you have like, now I have a little brother, so I understand this. I was like, when you have a little brother, he's got a dumb idea, and then they rope the middle and older child into roping into that bad idea and hoping mom doesn't find out they did some dumb shit. I actually speak on experience for this because when my brother and I were younger, we had you could probably still see the fucking videos on YouTube. We never took it down. You'll probably see a video of us of YouTube videos, shitty YouTube videos of me and my brother and an old friend of his doing dumb shit. And I was the one holding the camera. I'm serious. Like he took like the fell off the like Nerf darts and would put like thumbtacks in it, and then would shoot the dart into like a target. I'm sorry, mom. And we'd play like MLB 2K15. Yes, I had a PlayStation 3. Yeah, what do you mean, mom? Question mark, Perry. You know my mother. She would have whooped my ass. And then she did find out about
I
it and
mean,
kind of
that's like me and my brother. I have to tell this because this is fucking dumb as hell. But you know the little stick
I
that
just
you
played.
would like the little punks that you use to light like fireworks.
Oh, that reminds me. Oh, wait, what did you? What?
Anyway, I apologize for the train. Uh, I would like we would like light the the little like firecrackers, the little short ass fuses, and try to throw them midair. My brother took his punk and turned around and got me in the arm with it and burnt me.
Oh no.
So you know what I did?
Okay, Perry. It's been years since I've played MLB. Okay, I
I
probably
I
play it
chased him
now.
around the yard with my fat like cigar looking punk. Then I broke the bottom of it off and I was chasing him around with it.
My father was a firefighter, so my mom was like, we had no fireworks in the house. And if she found no, there was one time I was at my grandmother's and she bought fountains for 4th of July. And we and my grandma had us light matches and light the fountains, and my mom was not happy. Thank you, Barry. And so I'm trying to figure out what part we're at. Yeah, so yeah, this then like after we get that, we find out that or like we go back to even Jenkins, and that's when Jenkins actually has this pretty cool line where he's like, "And how many came back?" About how many like the librarians came back,
Mm-hmm.
and he says the best ones, and because that's like no, that goes all the way back to the first movie, and because if I just rewatched the first movie recently, which is why like I'm thinking on this. But the first movie, that's literally what it is Flynn just goes in, gets um he gets interviewed by Charlene and then gets the library, and then he's immediately whisked into this world of magic and mischief and saving the world twice before Tuesday.
Ugh. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
and
like it's kind of crazy how
mhm.
basically what happened to Jake, Ezekiel, and Cassie happened to Flynn in the beginning. I like how they kind of like paralleled that, and then there are certain aspects of this episode that some of the movies pick up on a little bit, which I love.
Like thrown into the fire, and then like why they do that, but also like learning because this is the first like time they're actually out on a job, so they're still learning.
Yep,
Uh, I'm going to go ahead and move on. So Eve finally gives in and decides she's going to let the Lits on their first trip, which is a case of seven missing people. What is it? I think it is it seven. I think it is seven, like
yeah,
seven missing people. Yeah, it's like
yep.
seven missing people, and they're like all from like different, like they're all from different like economic classes, ethnic backgrounds.
Different jobs too.
Yeah, like even like different, like all different kinds of backgrounds. And but the only thing that connects them is the fact that they're in this Clipping book, which to kind of refresh anyone's memory, the Clippings book is basically a magical book that every day has a new newspaper clipping of something magic that's going afoot. So yeah. So Eve decides to give in, let them do the job. It was funny is like they all start running off because she's like, okay, I want full breakdowns of everything, both natural and supernatural possibilities. They're just like, oh God, what have I done?
It's like the mom who gave her toddler sugar for the first time.
Yeah, I just like, oh God, what did I do? Except
That
they probably
reaction.
the equivalent for me. I'm trying to think. Oh God, what would be the equivalent for me?
That would be me going to a punk rock concert for the first time. Kind of like somewhat on my own, but kind of not at the same time. That like you're nervous, but you know that these guys are trained and are capable of doing what they can do.
Mm-hmm. Is that a thing? I don't think. You know what? I think it was maybe the first time I got on a trip by myself, which was, I think, to Gettysburg.
Cool.
That was the first time I went on a trip. I mean, it was a school trip, but still, that was the first time I was like without my mom. And oh, actually, no, I have a better analogy. When I went to DC on a ninth grade history trip, and I was let loose in a museum for 2 hours. Because, I went to, like, museums with mom before, she's like, "Alright, hold my hand, don't go too far away, let me still see ya." And then the group leader was like, "Okay, everyone have my number? We're gonna meet by this tree at this time, go have fun." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "No what to do." I'm like, "Okay, guess I'll just start walking." So I just
Yeah,
started walking around the
mine was
Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in Washington, DC by myself.
this one's kind of still fresh in my mind because it was so freaking funny. It was a end of class trip kind of to this combo like go-kart track and bowling alley and arcade all at once called the alley. I had a shitload of sugar and I was in the arcade the entire time. And then I almost missed the bus
Are we talking are we talking like Parker at a chocolate festival type?
pretty much. I I was I was on a sugar high and also on a Pizza Hut too, because like we had big monster pizzas. I was too small to get on the go kart. My feet couldn't reach the pedals.
Oh my god. I remember going go karting like a long time ago.
But yeah, that was like my first ever like solo like trip thing, basically. And it terrified me to be like alone, kind of like that with my
And
class and everything. We had one teacher to a group of like 23 people.
oh no, that's why.
And this was like the end of the year trip, so we weren't the only ones in this arcade, basically. We had rented out the whole place. But yeah, there was no like adults other than the teachers that were there. I still vividly remember that, and I want to go back there so bad, which is probably a bad idea.
All right, I'm gonna move on. And this is also so this so next we get introduced to this new object that uh or that Jenkins makes is to kind of their way to transport everybody to where they need to go quickly. Because before they had to have like plane tickets and like the first and like all the movies basically they had to use plane tickets. The first two episodes they had to like buy plane tickets to where they needed to go. Now we basically introduced now Perry, you're gonna have to correct me on this. I think because I just recently learned this term. So this back door that Jenkins has made to transport them from the annex to wherever they need to go. I believe that is a MacGuffin. So you'll have to correct me if I am wrong, but yeah. And it actually is kind of cool how it also introduces the concept uh, of like the science behind magic, which is interesting to think about. And this is the first time I think I've seen media where magic had been portrayed this way because yeah, well, so sorry, I was just reading the comments, but yeah, it's a, it is actually kind of cool how they explain it because they use like symbolic resonance, like Jenkins Wentz, like a door is like a voodoo doll is symbolic of a person. That's why it works. Uh, lead can be turned into gold because it is similar, and a door can be represented by any other door in the world, and of course with a little bit of magic. Yeah, so yeah, I think honestly I really like the magic system that they set up with that. And what's funny though is Jake puts uh the alligator clips on the door, and then he just kind of like crosses his arms and look at Jenkins like yeah, and then Jenkins glares at him like what the fuck and then it's like okay, and then walks away like he thinks he's like oh tough shit because he put on a couple of alligator clips. Like boy, what the fuck you doing? Yeah, and then we we also get some more science from Cassandra explaining what an Einstein-Rosen bridge is, which is basically a wormhole that allows them to travel from the back door or from the annex to wherever they're going. So, and of course, Ezekiel has to ask if it could work for a bank vault because why wouldn't he?
Okay, so when you said that, you know what popped into my brain? It's a Doctor
Hmm.
Who episode. Something similar. Basically a rift in time. opens up between modern day and then medieval times, and it's basically a wormhole.
Ah,
I couldn't stop laughing because the fez is the first thing to go through.
wait. That was Matt Smith's era. That was Matt Smith's era.
It was Matt Smith, David Tennant, and the Fifth Doctor, the War Doctor.
That episode. Or
That
that.
episode, yeah.
Okay, okay. Sorry. It's been a while since I've seen Doctor Who. Okay.
That's what popped into my mind.
Actually, okay. Hold on. Let
And
me
now I can't
actually
stop laughing.
real quick. Give me 1 second. Meaning. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, in fiction, a MacGuffin is an object, device, or event that is necessary to the plot and motivation of the characters, but insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself. Uh, yeah, adapted by Alfred Hitchcock. Uh, okay, so okay, so never mind. The back door is not a MacGuffin. So I was wrong. My apologies. So now let's decide they have to go to this meeting, or they all have to go to this meeting with the CEO of Golden Axe Foods, which is this basically like agricultural company. And so we meet the CEO, Karen Willis, who is played by Trisha Helfer. She's actually a very beautiful woman. But yeah, she's a little bit of a bitch this episode. I'm not gonna lie. And ironically reminded me a bit of Lisa Brenner's character on the Inside Job of Leverage, which is also just fun. Which is also funny because I just discovered that in the Librarians in the Quest for the Spear, the first woman that Flynn's mother tries to set him up with is Lisa Brenner's character, Deborah. It was funny. I was watching it with a buddy of mine, Adam, and I saw her on screen. I was like, "Wait!" I was like, "Wait! Pause the fucking movie. Hold on. Pause for a second. Pause for a second." And I'm like, "That's fucking D. Devlin's wife." And that's not the first time he's done that.
That's funny.
That's not the first time he's done that. Where D. Devlin has had his wife play the love interest of his main character.
Or
'Cause he
former
did
love
it.
interest.
I was about to say the next time he did it was in Almost Paradise season 2, the episode Deus Ex Wife Machina. Lisa Brenner plays Claire. I'm
Ex-wife.
just, I don't know what her like her last name is, if she actually goes by Walker, if she's going by like a different name. But Alex Walker's ex-wife, Claire, is played by Lisa Brenner. And what's funny is the first scene she's in, she slaps Alex Walker. And I actually remember when I was at the Almost Paradise panel, she talked about like how it was actually kind of fun being able to slap Christian Grey. And then Christian Grey goes,
I remember watching that. Like
he's like, I what?
yeah, after they posted that, I started laughing so hard. I'm like, they probably had they probably had a close call where she actually slapped him.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a blooper out there.
I would have laughed.
Or or if the dumbass just straight up told her, like, just fucking slap me. And then she can actually fucking slap, so it probably fucking hurt.
You know what that remind me of?
Actors and filmmakers. And Perry reminded me of this if I tried doing this shit when I go back to film an Austin McCool name. Don't actually get hit.
It was the when it was a Almost Paradise episode. It's when Kai and Alex are sparring in the gym.
Yeah.
Sam
I think,
actually
yeah.
like punches him in the face.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He posted the slow-mo video
I remember that
afterwards, and
too.
he goes, "Yeah, she actually legit hit me."
Yeah, okay. All right, back to the episode. So, little fun fact about Trisha Helfer. She her, Christian Kane, and Lindy Booth, who plays Cassandra Killian, all appeared in an episode of Supernatural. So
Oh,
Trisha was in an episode of season 2, the episode titled Roadkill, where she's the ghost who's haunting the road Sam and Dean help move on. Or, like, she's the ghost they help move
I
on.
remember. No wonder her
But she
face
did
looks
not know
familiar.
who was haunting this road. Yeah. I think she's one of those actors where it's like you see her and someone's like, "Oh, it's that person."
Oh.
That type. And obviously Christian Kane was in season 15, episode 7, Last Call, as Lee Brett, a hunter friend of Dean's who
Yep.
who
It has a bar. Like, come
he
on,
had a
man.
bar class where the first time you see Lee in the episode, he's singing fucking The House Rules. Which was funny. I still remember watching that episode and hearing. I'm like, wait, is he singing The House Rules? And then I'm like,
As soon as that episode, as soon as I saw the bar on the outside, I go, and then I hear it and I go, and I forgot what episode. Yeah, I forgot what episode Lindy was in.
So Lindy was actually in an episode called Rock in a Hard Place. And she's the witch that re-virginizes Sam and Dean. And that's literally what she does. She turns them back into virgins because I think the monster they were hunting is targeting virgins, so they're trying to like put the target on them so they can like lure out the monster.
Yeah, and then kill it.
Yeah, yeah. But
I mean, okay. So this kind of reminds me of going back to this episode of with like the labyrinth when they have to like go into the labyrinth a little bit and then they encounter something. They have to lure it.
Yes, they encountered a minotaur.
That thing was creepy.
It was.
It gave me nightmares.
I will say, okay, I'm pretty sure it was actually somebody in like a suit, and they just CGI'd the eyes because the eyes were fucking creepy. So,
Yep.
shout out to the effects department.
I still have freaking nightmares because of those eyeballs.
I do also kind of want to point out Eve when she's talking with Karen. Sexy.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's like little moments leading up to discovering the Minotaur that I want to point out. You know how like when the Lich realize that they're in danger, they realize it because of their specialty. Like Jake picks up on the Greek frescoes that are supposed to be in this.
Yep.
Like
little minor details.
Yeah. Cassie realized like, something's messing with like my uh like something's messing with my perception of this place that's causing me a headache. And Ezekiel's like, yeah, like we went, like, are we in the sub basement?
Oh, it's Cassandra starts to get a nosebleed when
Yeah,
they're in
she
the
gets in a headache, which is usually what happens when she starts hallucinating.
yeah, and then she starts to get like a minor nosebleed, and she just wipes it away and pretends like nothing happened. But did you notice the look that Stone gives her as they're walking through? He's like,
Yeah,
"You're
he's
not."
like, yeah, and that's actually something later is like they start like bickering because they're trying to figure out like what they should do, and you know and they're like kind of getting lost because this labyrinth is fucking with their perception. And
Yep.
Jake's like, great, stuck in a labyrinth. It's with the Minotaur, with with the two least reliable people I know. And like Cassie starts getting pissed, rightfully so, because she's like, okay, like you have been on my ass since it started. It's like, what do I gotta prove? Like I betrayed you the one time. And like I had my reasons, and like I've done nothing to like I've done nothing else. Like I've done nothing for you to still be pissed at me about. Like I've apologized. I fixed my ways. I apologized. I explained why I did what I did. You don't get to be pissed at me. And of course, and this is kind of like Jake kind of has his bit. I, it's a little bit like his Nate moment. And let me explain because, or Nathan Ford moment, where he's like, like I take my responsibility seriously. And Cassie calls him out on it, where it's like he's being kind of a self-righteous asshole because he doesn't see why, like he can't get past his head the idea that like Cassie was pushed in a corner, and as like her betraying the team was her only way out. Like she was told she was basically dying, and then she was offered a way to not die. What the hell was she supposed to do? You know? And like Jake just can't get that wrapped around his head because loyalty is his most important trait to him. And yeah, so the yeah, so that's what kind of they're afraid about, and that's why like that's where they're fighting at this moment when they really shouldn't be because they need to be getting the fuck out of the labyrinth. But yeah, alright, so moving on. Sorry, yeah, though Eve fighting the Minotaur though, that was like that was honestly like one of the like most badass things I've seen because she like and then she like fires her gun. All right, sorry. All right, no, you're good, Alex. You're fine. You're good. Uh, uh sorry, might have you having issues. All right, you're good. You're good.
That was really, really freaking weird.
No, sorry, we had some like yeah, sorry, we had a yes. Thank you, Perry, for reminding me where. Yes, sorry, we had some tech issues going on.
Yeah,
So so
my
she
laptop's being
starts
stupid.
because there's uh this like slide shoots like dun dun dun, and then like fires, pisses off the Minotaur, and then they run into like the office. And then somehow Jenkins is able to get the back door in a filing cabinet, which I'm sorry. How the fuck did he find a filing cabinet that was big enough? Like, because like Cassie could probably fit in it. She's kind of skinny. This is not shaming. This is not body shaming. This is not body shaming. This is just, this is not body shaming. I want to point that out. This is not body shaming. Cassie is like kind of really thin. So like it would be easier, I think, for her to be going through. Yes, I know I'm skinny, but I'm also small, Perry. So it would be easier, I think, for her to get through a filing cabinet, or at least like step to go through if it came like out far enough. Eve is tall, but she's a little bit built, so I don't know how she fit. Ezekiel kind of the same. Well, he's still like a little average height for a man, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying how they fit in the filing cabinet, Perry. Now, Jake, I think, is the because like I don't see Jake fitting in that filing cabinet because no, Jake's built like kind of built like a bit of a shipwreck house. Okay, it's what I love about him because it also makes him cuddly. As someone who's hugged Christian Kane, I can confirm it makes him cuddly. There's no way he's been in a filing cabinet. Moving along. All right, moving on, moving on. Yeah, so I think it's funny when they get through, and then Jenkins just kind of looks like, okay, first time out, how'd it go? And like they're all like huffing and puffing, and like I just glared at him like, shut the fuck up. Mhm. All right, so yeah, and then so they keep, or then they have this almost like rallying moment a bit later. Uh, no, because they're like, okay, like it's likely that like Henry Birch, the original guy they were trying to find, is probably dead. So we have to stop this to prevent other people from being dead. And they start realizing like, okay, how do we how do we stop this? And they find out that what uh Karen needs is, well, she needs to essentially keep sacrificing virgins, which of course Ezekiel has to make a dirty joke about it. And it's like, I don't think you're gonna, like, I don't think you can find 14 virgins nowadays. It's like, this is like family entertainment, my ass, Dean Devlin. Family entertainment, my ass.
Family entertainment.
That's actually an old school one. I kind of forgot about that. That's an old school one. That's
Yeah.
like, okay. And I appreciate that, he was like, okay, like break it down to solve the problem. Okay. Like, why is the labyrinth here? And like what can she, Karen gain from this, and like what was the original myth? Because that's what all comes down to. And so basically in the original myth, the king of or it was like the king sacrificed 14 virgins to gain like wealth and prosperity. And they also realized that, virgins isn't, you know, virgins, it's people who are like inexperienced, as Jake points out. So that's why she's killing interns because they're inexperienced. And they weren't like lacking a lot knowledge and still learning. And then they're also like, okay, like, yeah, we have to stop her because she's going to keep doing this. And like, she's going to kill 6 more people and she's not going to stop. And then we also see that the Minotaur changes from, the Minotaur to a biker dude. And then when they step out to go back into the back into the building, they're back in the labyrinth, in and out being chased by the Minotaur. Which I want to point out, why is Christian Kane always getting tossed around like a damn ragdoll?
You know damn well that boy was like, throw me around if you want to.
Yeah, he what has all he been thrown? Okay, he's been thrown into several walls. I'm pretty sure I've lost count of how many walls he got thrown into. Into a gong,
Table.
multiple tables.
Yep. Bookshelf.
Yep. Yeah, bookshelf. What else has he been thrown into? Oh, cars.
Yep.
No, no, no. Perry, you are not opening up that can of fucking worms. You are not opening up that can of fucking worms. You are not.
So many things. Wait,
Shut
shit, did I say that?
the fuck up. Moving on. All right. Now basically, now basically they all got to run for the Minotaur, which is Jenkins is able to like confuse the Minotaur senses to be able to buy them like 5 minutes, or no, 15. I think 15 minutes that they buy, or that he can buy them. And I appreciate that Cassandra's the one who calls Eve out for treating them out or treating them like soldiers. And that's what kind of flips the switch in Eve's head. It's like, okay, like you're right, you're not soldiers. So this is what we're gonna do. Like Cassie is our thread. Because that's essentially they find out that the labyrinth is this like complex math thing where like is multiple floors, but Cassie could figure out the math to be able to like see what floor they're on and where to go. So basically they need Jake to or Jake and Eve are essentially going to fight Jake and Eve are going to fight the Minotaur to provide a distraction, while Ezekiel gets Cassie to this like the center of the maze essentially, so they could essentially shut it down. And what's good is like, of course, Jake has to like when he steps out and he's like he was. So I was like, "Come on, boy," and starts running. And I'm like, "You can't take the Oklahoma out the boy."
I know. Well, what? The
And I
little
was sick.
bitty detail that you missed right before he like says, "Come on, let's do this." He whistles.
He does whistle, yeah.
Fucking whistle. It's like, Christian, honey, you're not calling a dog. You're calling a fucking minotaur towards you. Don't.
I mean, and this ain't the fucking rodeo. All right.
Exactly. And you're not a bullfighter. Even though you want to be. Oh, that's actually pretty good. I don't know where that came from.
So there's a lot of these like So we get Eve actually fighting Minotaur, and like she pulls out its nose ring. I'm like, that
Ow,
hurt. Yeah.
that would hurt.
And of course, Jake at some point has to run over the or like hits the Minotaur with the car or no, with the truck. And he's like, think smarter, not harder. She's like, okay, good enough. Let's get the GTFO because. All right, so Ezekiel and Cassie get caught, and Ezekiel manages to get get the thread, and basically Cassie comes to the realization that the way to get rid of the thread or to get like the way to like stop this is by putting a straight line into a maze. So she throws the yarn or throws the thread into the maze, starting the collapse. And Cassie actually gets in a little bit of action.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so they all go back to the Minotaur. The thread goes to like the thread comes like Eve he uses the thread to go back, gets the others, pull them all back. Jake's like holding it. And then he slides on his ass, gets caught as he's like pulling like three grown humans. Which I don't know how he didn't get fucking rope or burn on his ass because of that. Because I've been dragged. I actually have been dragged on my back before in grass, not uh
I've been dragged
no
across a
no
gymnasium linoleum, and I've gotten rug floor burn on my thighs.
yeah. I mean he was wearing jeans. So maybe that
And I was
yeah,
in jeans too, because I had forgotten my PE shorts,
I don't know.
and
But
that shit hurts.
yeah, so we're gonna move on. So yeah, so and basically, because then they're like, like why like it's like we didn't actually get down like take down Karen. Jacob's like, oh, Minotaurs have or hold a grudge and they have to find a way to get the dude. Then you just see the Minotaur going after Karen. Now that it's been freed from the maze. And it's like, karma's that bitch. And so all right, so now we get
You know
towards
what I'm laughing at.
yeah, I know you're laughing at. All right, so so then Jake and Cassie have this speech, which is them sort of, burying the hatchet in a way. Because Jake is saying how like nobody knew he was a genius. And he's kept it a secret for 20 years because family ain't easy. And for him it's hard to trust people. So he loves his family and friends, doesn't trust them enough to tell him he's a genius. But he trusted the library, he trusted them. And Cassie broke that trust. And that's why he's having like such a hard time trusting Cassie. And he's like, I like her, but like I can't trust you anymore. And he learned his lesson. And it was heartbreaking because he like, learning a lesson and like it always ends bad. So let's just stay good. And I relate to that hard as somebody with trust issues.
I
Because I don't
totally.
trust
When he said that to her, he's like, "Yeah, you betrayed the library's trust. More
like
specifically, you
my
betrayed my
trust.
trust in you with what the stunts that you pulled." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I relate to that so hard because I've been stabbed in the back by so-called friends.
Yeah, and like every time like I've trusted somebody where like I open up, it's it's come to bite me in the ass. My last two relationships. I mean, I hate to say it, but that was kind of true. Justin bit me in the ass. And yeah, and it's also like why I don't really speak to a lot of my family. And like you'll hear me talking about like my mom a lot, my brother a lot. You don't really hear me talking about my dad a lot. But like any family besides that, you don't hear me talking about because I'm not close with any of them. Like I don't have a relationship with any of them. Like the only person I have a relationship with is my mom and my brother. And so I completely understand Jake, and that's another reason why like I latched onto him so quick when I started watching this. And this is also kind of a sad line because the last time or the next time we see Jake fully like let someone in is in the City of Light.
I'm gonna need tissues for that one.
Me too. That's a sad episode.
I know.
That was one of the hardest fanfic chapters I think I've ever written.
That fanfic chapter made me bawl.
I know because like my character like finding so much to actually relate to, and then like losing him.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, and I do appreciate that at the end, uh, Eve does take accountability for her. She takes accountability for how she was acting, being like, like you're not soldiers. I need to start realizing that, and I'm
Yep,
sorry.
she was like, shit, I just realized you guys aren't soldiers. You guys are the smartest people that I know.
And so, yeah, so that's actually kind of how the episode ends. Is Eve admitting that she was wrong. So I do have some behind the scenes tidbits that I had from when I did notes last time. So I'm just gonna kind of skim through these real quick. So John Rogers has this blog called Kung Fu Monkey. Okay, where he talks about some of this stuff, and basically, all right. So fun fact: the actor who plays the Minotaur, Tyler Main, was also in X-Men as Sabretooth alongside Rebecca Romaine, who played Mystique. She's the first iteration of Mystique. Well, I shouldn't say first.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and he was Sabretooth.
I like
Oh
that
yeah.
there's
Oh,
I like that there's like a little bit of like an undertone of like some like the alchemy stuff. That sort of mythology with this episode because of the labyrinth.
yeah, and
I really,
also
really love that. As someone who has read The Alchemist not once but several times because of Christian.
actually, speaking of alchemy, the writer of this episode, Jeremy Bernstein, apparently was a biochemist.
Interesting.
What?
But
You do TV show scripts.
I mean, the reason why I bring up The Alchemist is because it mentions the Philosopher's Stone, which is what is needed in alchemy.
And
I thought
that's
it was really cool.
the Legend of King Arthur.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Time.
that's what popped in my head with The Alchemist, and I love that book.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it more than what I did back when I first read it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Continuing on. So apparently, this episode, Kane apparently only got hurt twice. Uh, once was in this episode 3. Apparently, he went to go around the corner, was running probably, Mach speed, rounded the corner a little too tight, broke his thumb when he fell. Uh,
Ow!
cannot confirm or deny that John Rogers said fucking Oklahoma. I may have to ask Steve Devlin that though when I see him on Tuesday. If the
If he's
phrase
there,
no, Dean Devlin will be there.
you better try to get me a video of him saying hi to me.
I will. I will do my best during the cocktail reception.
Good.
If I can. Yeah. Yeah, I also find it interesting that so John Rogers in his blog was very adamant how they had notes in the writers' room to not pair up the lights like the Leverage OT3. And where it's like a little bit like queer platonic, which like people still did it anyway, so it didn't fucking work. But apparently I wrote in my note, and to that I say, be careful what you wish for a job, because the Penum's gonna do anyways, because Christian Kane's really good at trios. And I'm moving on. So they had to do a lot of offshoot fight scene or off camera fight scenes, sorry, for this episode because they had scheduling conflicts with Rebecca Romaine's stunt double. Which is why, like, if you actually watch the episode, you'll see that a lot of the fights happen like off camera, and you see like the ending. And it's just a fun show. I mean, you got magic, you got comedy, you got heart, it's got action, it's got like the perfect mix of everything. And shout out to the writers. So now, all right, so that's all what I had for the librarians and the Horns of a Dilemma. Now I want to talk about the librarians in the next chapter. So,
Which
one,
I saw,
I'm so
I
crazy
saw,
today.
I saw a little like commercial for it, and I immediately, I'm so excited.
Me too. So, okay, so for those of you who haven't been keeping up with all the information on the librarians in the next chapter, so so it is a new cast of characters. You have our librarian out of time, Victor Chamberlain, played by the fantastic Callum McGowan. We have a scientist, Dr. Lisa Pascal, played by the beautiful Olivia Morris. We have the conspiracy theorist, the believer, Connor Green, played by the talented Louis Robinson, and the guardian of our misfit librarians, played by the badass, the beautiful Miss Jessica Green. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We even also get introduced to a new keeper of the library. She was in some of the promotional content that they did. So I'm excited to meet her. And I like how it's a woman this time. I mean, obviously, like Bob Newhart is iconic as Judson, and no one can be like no one else can play Jenkins like John Larroquette. With his dry humor and comedy and
Yeah,
like dead delivery that makes you like bust out laughing.
yeah, and that's why I love watching the bloopers. Like after I watch an episode, I go back and I watch the bloopers.
Shiny balls.
Every time he goes, "Oh balls!" I start laughing.
No, that's Jim Beaver.
I know.
Alright,
It's no,
sorry. Carry
no.
on.
But John said that a couple of times. Specific
Yeah, I think he
episodes.
did say that. There's the Chris episode. So, uh, alright, so the what I actually want to say, so the Librarians was originally supposed to be on the CW. They scratched it. It got picked back up by TNT, which I would say is impressive. And it's already got a second season. Which yes, I will be asking D Dylan if we can get on the second season if they haven't already filmed it. Pretty sure they might have already filmed it, but I'm still gonna ask if we can get us casted in some. Anyways, so these are gonna be kind of some like questions that I have uh, for the new series. So basically, I want a little update on what happened to each character. Like what happened to Jenkins, what happened to Even Flynn, what happened to Ezekiel, what did Cassie become caretaker at the library,
Yeah.
and how is Jake, coming back into this? And what's he gonna like? Is he gonna be like passing the baton? Which I think he is actually gonna be passing the baton, given how they've been talking, like in the behind the scenes stuff, and also like with what they were saying at the Electricon panel that they did for the librarians the next chapter. They were all talking about, how like, you know, they were kind of nervous actually. Uh, playing these rules, but then like Christian had like literally passed the baton on to them, be like, the library is yours now. And so I guess I kind of answered the question you had for me is they were all kind of nervous. And I'll probably still ask it, but yeah, so and I don't know who else is coming back. So the only person I know is coming back so far is Jacob Stone. I would like to see the other characters return. I don't know if they are. I hope they do
Me too.
because I'm a huge fan of like old school versus new school. So I kind of want like new gen taking on a case from old gen, and we see like so like essentially we have like two parallel lines going, but for the same story. So you have like the new gen following the same clues, like the old generation. I say old generation, but like the previous generation is. And I'm curious to see how this new generation interacts with like the magic and uh I don't know. See, my other question was if these characters were related in any way to the original trio, which I don't think they are. And I do kind of like the fact that like the main librarian is like a man at a time. And they actually Dean said that in one of the promo materials where he was like, like no, you have to like elevate the story. So, what's the best way to do that is by taking a character like fish out of water, and that's what like made the original so lovable. Is the fact that Flynn was a fish out of water. He spent his whole life in academia, but he never experienced the real world. In Victor Chamberlain's case, he's literally like a man at a time.
Yep.
Wait, isn't that the Moon Knight song? Wait, no, I'm thinking. Is it Moon Knight? A Man Without Love. Okay, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. There's a man without love was the Moon Knight song. But so those are the questions I'm hoping to answer with this new iteration of the librarians. So do you have any other final thoughts, comments on
Nope.
either this
Although
episode or
I'm really eager to see how Christian kind of like refreshes his character in the reboot,
Mhm.
but still stick to the heart that is Jacob Stone from the original series. Like in this episode, he isn't afraid to be vulnerable, which I love,
Yeah,
but for good reason.
mhm. Yeah, like he wears like his intellect on his sleeve,
Yep.
and I I like it's almost the reverse of Elliot, where
Yep.
Elliot has his heart on his sleeve, but he keeps it protected. In this case, or in Jake's case, it is his intellect. He wears it as like he uses his intellect to kind of hide his heart a bit. So, all right. So, uh, any other final thoughts, comments?
Nope.
All right. So I'm gonna start wrapping up this episode. So again, I want to thank our sponsors, nefco.org. If you want to thank, or if you want to support our podcast, you can go on Ko-fi at Films and Fandoms, buy a coffee. All proceeds go to both me and Alex, and you'd be supporting us as content creators. We do have a Discord. That's the invite code. Our Instagram is FN Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex, which I need to start posting on again. Our Twitter is FN Fandoms. Our uh, our Facebook is at Films and Fandoms. My website is KayleeSantelActing.com. My Twitter is MissMovieFan_67. TikTok is MovieFan_67. Uh, Alex's Instagram is Alex_the Alley Cat. Twitter is also Alex the Alley Cat. Alex's TikTok is Alex the Alley Cat as well. And you can go and support our friends over at My Media Works, because my film works, because they got some cool stuff going on, and you should support them. And they're good friends of mine. Okay, so the next episode of Librarians that we'll be talking about is in Santa's Midnight Run, which is a Christmas episode, so we'll have to work around that. And it'll be to be determined what shall we talk about next. So I mean, that's everything I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye. There we go.